We've officially reached a monetary twilight zone where savers are punished and debtors are rewarded. And the more and more I hear about negative rates and the threat of hyperinflation from other countries, it gives me it gives me 100 trillion reasons to believe that this will not end pretty for those that depend on paper and digits alone. So today, just this morning, Zimbabwe, back in the news again. And of course, whenever it hits mainstream news here in America, it's already old news. And so hyperinflation is back. It looks like from an article I'm going to share with you guys right here, it says Zimbabwe raises rate to 70% to support currency and curb inflation. And so what's interesting is that we have the developed nations, the EU, United States of America, Japan, all the other countries. They're trying to drop rates to spur inflation, to get some inflation going, because apparently, according to their measurements, they can't find inflation if it was staring them in the face. Problem is they're looking for inflation in the wrong areas and using the wrong metrics or outdated metrics. But here we have a country, Zimbabwe, that's hiking rates up to 70% to try to curb inflation, where I think I've read a couple reports as of now, it looks like it's at about well above 200%, closer to 500%, as things just spiral out of control in that country there. Not even, or just slightly 10 years after their previous hyperinflation, where this note right here, this $100 trillion note, the highest denomination pretty much known to man, was in circulation. And of course, $100 trillion could buy you maybe a piece of an egg, not even a whole egg to cook and eat. But today, I want to just touch down basically and share some thoughts with you, because we have this negative rate cut situation in the EU, and then we have the idea of quantitative easing beginning of about $20 billion a month in the European area. And on top of that, we have a president very vocal saying that we need to be cutting rates. We should be at zero or already at negative, and getting ready to borrow more and be able to not have to pay interest anymore. So we're in an environment now where savers, those that put cash aside, are basically the ones that will be a victim of what's going on, because it clearly is turning into a weaponization of monetary policy. And as you guys can tell from this video here, basically financial capital destruction. And so just give an idea of what that really means to me personally. And of course, I'm always interested to hear what you think. Leave a comment. But capital destruction simply means funds put aside that's utilized to grow, to increase wealth, is under threat right now because of monetary policy spurred on by government indebtedness. So here we have a situation in the EU where they're already in recession. There's a lot of different countries there already having issues in the negative territory. And one thing they haven't seemed to learn just yet, or I really believe they know what they're doing, and it's all about basically getting to that next system however they can, because they've drained the system dry thus far. But yet they're going to try to get the remaining little drips of liquidity out of this system. So basically what they're doing is they're going to go even further negative, printing more money, more stimulus. And what that has done is basically stolen capital. It's stolen the opportunity for investors, savers, depositors, you name it, even hedge fund people, to put capital into assets that would appreciate over time if we were in normal market conditions. But given the fact that we are in a monetarily induced coma state right now due to all this financialization and debt expansion to keep this current paradigm going, monetary policy is clearly being weaponized against the public, against savers, against those that were taught all along the best way to secure your future is to set aside some funds and save, invest, be responsible with your financial matters. But yet right now, if people continue to play by those rules, they're going to be on the losing side. So I got a couple notes here I'm going to glance at. So right now is monetary literacy. One thing I like to try to encourage people with rethinking the dollar, just to begin thinking in general, begin thinking outside the box. And right now, all the events that are transpiring around us happen to do with monetary policy and fiscal policy. And so not only are the central banks running out of ammunition, their toolkit, just the very concept of a toolkit, lets us know that they have some tools or instruments that they can use. And who are they experimenting on? They're experimenting on you as well as myself. And so they could care less about the outcome of these experiments. They just simply want to get through and keep face and not be pointed at the villains. That's the reason why this current monetary system comes to an end or unravels. And so it's starting to look like more and more every day that we are on the wrong side of history, because prior to the weaponization of our financial system due to monetary and fiscal policy, old school model was to set aside and save. But now more people that sit their capital to the side will come up on a short end of the stick. So eventually, in my opinion, it might get to the point where we'll look back and say that being financially responsible was considered irresponsible when you have monetary policy and fiscal policy colliding right now, and every central bank around this planet is looking for a way to maintain their own jobs. It's unfortunate that the policies are implemented in national currencies, which are their debt instruments that they lend to governments and charge back with interest. So when I see notes like this of $100 trillion, it's a reminder of how problematic monetary policy can be, and how basically weapons of mass destruction was a big thing we were told 10 years ago in a sense of war. And we're at a point now where we're at financial, monetary war against a elite group of bankers that has been given charge of national currencies. So how does this end? How does all this stuff come to a halt? Simply, monetary policy, aka monetary tools, and the toolkit that we're hearing more and more about has become financial weapons of capital destruction. Therefore, setting funds aside, in my opinion, and things intending on them to grow normally and naturally are going to be considered risky. And so the only people, in my opinion, people in the form of investors who actually know what they're doing, know how to play this game in the sense of being able to put capital in certain places for it to grow, will be winners. And everyone else who are more on the passive side, where they set aside funds or give it to people to handle for them, those are the people who might come up short on the end of this as all this unravels. Because at the end of the day, the one guarantee is that monetary policy can only devalue and inflate their own product, which are national currencies. And so it's no coincidence to see a situation in Zimbabwe, once again, where the dollar, which started off this current year pegged at 1 to 1, is now apparently trading at 13 to 1. And there happened to be a shortage of dollars amongst all the other policies that's been put in place, where as of this summer, a new monetary committee in Zimbabwe decided to outlaw any foreign currency as being a legal tender. So now people are stuck with their own national currency, which is the reason why it's 200+% inflation right now. And we're not even close to the end of this year. So next couple of months, it's going to reach a flat out state of chaos and pandemonium in the country of Zimbabwe, I believe. And that's not the only country. There's going to be a lot more in the days ahead. And of course, because we're the reserve currency status, that gives us a little bit more time. But it's one of them things where how can all the world around us crumble and then not come home to roost here due to monetary policy, which will prove to be financial weapons of capital destruction. And so without me ranting, I'm done. I just want to put this out here, but definitely take a look at the article below. Give this some serious thought. It's not too common for you to hear words such as financial weapons of capital destruction. So think about that. Is that something that you think can really be in play, or am I just over the top and a little bit too far gone? But anyway, I thought I would just share this information because I saw this article in Zimbabwe. Definitely not surprised because, once again, monetary policy has been weaponized officially now. And so now it's just a matter of, how it all unfolds outside this country and comes back here. But if you guys have not, make sure the only thing you can do, in my opinion, is to protect yourself. Get money, get tangible money, get assets in your hand that will be a recipient of all this monetary policy as things unravel. And of course, I want to make sure I let you guys know RTD Silver Coin still available. I want to bring that to your attention. Definitely get your weight up, because for those that are in the know and if paper is not what it's supposed to be, then your best bet is make sure you hold something tangible, and silver will definitely be of asset to you long term. But other than that, love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Thanks.